What's going on, guys? First video of 2021. I'm so excited to be back. Hopefully you guys are happy to see me. And we are going to be doing a ton of good videos this year, but we got to start off with some housekeeping, of course. And the first video I did last year was my 7 Holy Grail record goals for the year. Now, if you're new to the channel or you're new to vinyl, a Holy Grail record is more or less a record that's extremely hard to find, whether it always goes for a high price or it's very limited and there aren't many that exist and you very rarely see it when you're digging. Those are called Holy Grails, and people are always on the search for their most holiest of grails on their list. I always have ones that keep rotating because I knock them off and I end up wanting more. It's just the nature of the hobby. And last year, I was able to talk about 7 that I was really hoping to get. And I got lucky because I got 6 of the 7. I managed to get Frank Ocean's Blonde, which was a lucky Instagram buy. 07's The Garden, because it got a reissue, which was surprising and awesome. Final Fantasy VII picture discs, which I bought an original, and then they got a repress a couple months later. That was a bit of a slap in the face. Freelance Whales Weather Vanes, a lucky Discogs buy. Audioslave Revelations, which was Ryan Dye, shout out to him, a fan of the channel. He was at a record fair, knew I wanted it, and saw someone that was selling it and got it for me. And then Milo, A Toothpaste Suburb, an amazing underground hip-hop record. So those are 6 of my 7 for last year, and the one that eluded me is going to be on this list carried over. So let's just talk about the 7 records that I'm hoping to find this year, and I would love for you to leave a comment with records that you're hoping to find as well, that are your holy grails or white whales or whatever you want to call them. If you haven't already, it'd be awesome if you'd like this video, hit the red subscribe button, and turn your bell notifications on so you don't miss out on any weekly videos I put out. So the one that eluded me is unfortunately the Soundgarden Superunknown 320 pressing from Germany. This is one of the hardest to find grunge records of all time, if not the hardest. Basically, in Germany in 2004, there was an all-analog pressing of Soundgarden Superunknown. Even the 90s ones weren't analog, and the most recent reissues aren't either. The only one that was 2004 in Germany, and it is so hard to find a clean copy for a fair price when it even pops up, which is extremely rare. Did not find it this year, didn't even see it for sale for a fair price, and I'm actually starting to consider maybe just trying to get the 200 gram pressing. I hear it sounds pretty good, and it would certainly cost me a significant chunk less. If you guys have experience with the 200 gram, let me know how it sounds in the comments. Otherwise, the hunt continues for the 320. Second up is the Boston self-titled Mobile Fidelity pressing. Boston's self-titled record is one of my favorite albums. It is a perfect record front to back. Every single song sounds like a single, and of course some of their biggest singles, Peace of Mind, More Than a Feeling, are on there, as well as some of their more epic songs like Foreplay Long Time, and every single song could be the single from the album. It also is just, it's probably the best debut album of all time, or at least in the top 5, and Mobile Fidelity did a limited pressing of it years ago. As you guys know, MoFi puts out unbelievable quality records, and I've been wanting to track this one down for a long time just to hear how good it sounds on the Clearaudio concept compared to my original press, which sounds good, but I know that MoFi is really going to sing. The problem is it's always over $250 when I see it for sale, and usually from like Japan. So unless there's a magical reissue, I think it'll be hard to get this one, but I'm definitely on the lookout. Next up is Lemon Jelly, lemonjelly.ky. Lemon Jelly is one of my favorite electronic acts, really quirky and fun and beautiful music. I managed to pick up their other album, Lost Horizons, a year or 2 ago, and that is my favorite of their stuff. But lemonjelly.ky is their first official album. It's a compilation of some of their early EPs, and they really take electronic music and add their own signature touch to it. There's no one really doing music like Lemon Jelly. It's down-tempo, it's loungy, it's fun, it's a little jazzy at times, and I love what they do, and this is a very difficult record to find that has not had a reissue in a very long time. So hopefully I can track it down, we'll see. Next up is Morcheeba's Who Can You Trust? Morcheeba is a top 3 trip-hop group for me. Sky Edwards has one of the most sultry, soothing voices I have ever heard in music. I like her solo career as well, but Morcheeba, when she combines those really bombastic trip-hop beats that are just syrupy and beautiful mixed in with her amazing heavenly vocals, I think it's a match made in heaven. And ultimately, her first album is really difficult to find. Who Can You Trust has a bootleg that is a little easier to find, and it's almost indistinguishable from the first press. So you really have to be careful when you're buying it because the bootleg does not sound as good as the OG. I would love to find the original, or maybe it'll get a long-awaited reissue along with some of her later career records that also need to be on vinyl for the first time. This is the year. Next up, My Chemical Romance Conventional Weapons box set. This is another really difficult one to find. So after their final album, there was another album that never made it to wax in full. It only was made in a 7-inch box set. It's called Conventional Weapons, and honestly, it's some of their best work. Maybe not consistently, but some of the tracks on there are some of my favorite My Chemical Romance tracks. The band really didn't miss as soon as 3 Cheers came out and they went forward. Not a huge fan of the first album, but I mean, Black Parade is a top 150 album. It almost made my list when I did my top 100 albums last year. And Conventional Weapons box set goes for so much money. It is so hard to find, first of all, the actual box, and second of all, it's hard to find all the 7 inches. The individual 7 inches tend to go for $70 to $100 on their own if you can find them. So I don't know if there's going to be a repress of this. I would love a repress over 2 discs on like a proper 2 LP, because a 7-inch box set for me is a little annoying to listen to on a regular basis. But as a My Chemical Romance fan, I would love to track this down, if anything, as a collectible. Next up, we have Slipknot's Iowa. Slipknot is a band in the past year or two that I've actually really gotten into. I always wrote them off in the past as kind of like annoying, like new metal garbage. Whatever I thought it was, I was incorrect. Slipknot, while having the aggression on a lot of songs, also have songs of beautiful and intimate songwriting that are extremely emotional, and they span a lot of genres within their general genre of metal, new metal, whatever you want to call them. I really enjoy a lot of their records, and Iowa is maybe their best. It also hasn't had a repress in years and years. So Iowa has a bootleg that's come out, and a lot of people have that, and I'm sure it sounds good, but I would love to track down the proper original press because I'm sure it sounds fantastic. Their music usually sounds great on wax, and Iowa is one of those records that I'm hoping this year gets some kind of big repress officially, but if not, I'm really gonna have to try to track down one of those OGs. And finally, Taylor Swift, Red. So Red is maybe my favorite of her albums. It's definitely top 3, and it has a promo pressing that is on, drumroll, red vinyl. You think that that would be the standard press because the album is called Red. One of the best songs on it is called Red. But the original press was on black, and then there was a repress that was on clear, and I'm like, okay, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But the red one is the one that I want to have. Unfortunately, it is a promo. It only went out for a 4-year consideration package, I believe. It was sent to, labels and studios and things, and it was not readily available for purchase. The red version now goes for hundreds of dollars. If you can find it, it goes for about $500 to $800, especially with how big Taylor has gotten with the release of Folklore and Evermore, where she pulled so many new people into the fray. People who ignored her for a while were sucked in by the awesome folk storytelling that she put together last year. I don't think I'm going to find it for a fair price. I would love for them to do a proper reissue on Red or some variant of Red, a red marble, a red translucent. I don't really care what it is. I just think that color variant would match it perfectly, and I would love to track it down. So hopefully I can find one for a fair price. Who knows? So those are the 7 holy grails I'm looking for this year. I would love to hear what you're looking for, so please drop a comment below with the things that you're hoping to find on your list. I would love to see what are some of your most wanted records. Thank you guys for watching this video. There's a lot more excellent videos being planned, so stick around. More coming soon. Take it easy.